many of you know that popular streamer Vaush, popular lefty streamer, was recently found to have a folder of animated child horsecock porn. And there is a content creator by the name of PF Young, and they make satirical videos putting League of Legends, or putting real life into League of Legends. I thought it would be fun for us to go through, instead of going through all the Vaush stuff and all the back and forth. I thought it would be fun to just watch this one.
This League of Politics Champion Spotlight, featuring Vaush, the Horse Lord. Why?
The Horse Lord. So if you don't know, Vaush has a history of wanting to have sex with girls as an actual horse.
People wear gloves. It's obvious.
If you don't know what League of Legends is a game for toxic incel nerds where they can use gamer words and be angry for the rest of their lives.
What's up, Joseph? My hands are cold.
Vaush is one of the 3 major champions that were released as part of the legendary Political Streamer Expansion Pack, which has since dominated the meta in League of Politics. He is a very powerful, dedicated tank with a number of abilities.
Now, if you understand a lot of these are League of Legends terms. League of Legends, like every so many months, comes out with a new update which changes the meta, which makes different characters have different what they call builds for different skills and whatever. So this is just replacing all of the fundamentals of League of Legends with funny fundamentals
that allow him to absorb tons of damage, drama, and general controversy. Let's take a look at what this hoofed hero can do on the Rift.
I don't know.
Vaush hails from the most elite and wealthy parts of the upper city in Piltover. As a youth, Vaush witnessed the steep inequality between the citizens of the upper city and the disenfranchised denizens of the undercity known as Zon. Driven by his deep sense of compassion, Vaush became a socialist, courageously championing the plight of the poor and dispossessed without ever actually doing anything to help them. In his quest for glory, Vaush befriended a magical goblin called Destiny. But after an unfortunate dispute over a member of Destiny's
a magical goblin, not a short stack goblin, just a magical goblin. So Vaush made the excuse that it wasn't little kids that he jerked it to. He thought it was short stack goblins.
harem, Vaush struck out on his own to conquer the Rift for himself. Vaush's passive is weapons-grade autism. Considered by many to be the ultimate double-edged sword, this ability grants major boosts.
Passive is the one that you can use without any sort of skill. Then you have QWER as your different attacks or defenses, R being your most potent, biggest attack.
Boosts to Vaush's rhetorical abilities.
Hyperfixation has always been my most predominant autistic characteristic, I suppose, like dropping everything to hyperfixate on something. For me, it was public speaking, which I obviously enjoy very much and now get to do for a living, so, you know, that worked out pretty well in my favor.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
The cost of such a powerful passive should not be underestimated, though. Without trying to deflect, this passive makes it difficult to read social cues from teammates and to avoid making optically unsound arguments.
And I hate to pull this out, because this sounds like some invalid self-defense, but I am autistic.
I'm a lot better at making arguments than I used to be. I'm a lot less... I don't know. I'm not trying to deflect. I'm a lot less autistic than I used to be. I don't know.
Vaush's Q is literally a fascist. Vaush targets an enemy champion and accuses them of being a fascist, dealing a moderate amount of true damage.
It is in being a fascist.
Because this ability deals true damage, Vaush doesn't need to itemize for armor penetration or provide any evidence. As long as they disagree with Vaush, they are vulnerable to this highly spammable ability.
It's from conservatives, people who are often fascists.
You're a fascist!
Lo, Vaush, you really saying Peterson is a fascist? Yeah. No matter what she personally believes, she covers for fascists. I don't even know if he's a Nazi. He's definitely an anti-Semite.
Vaush's W is postmodern parry. Vaush and
Postmodern parry. Isn't parry a defense? I remember when I was in college, I took fencing at NC State, and parry was like when you fucking block with the bell guard or whatever.
enters a defensive stance, ignoring all incoming damage from the next enemy attack. First, Vaush spends a few seconds channeling the power of moral relativism.
Whereas a moral anti-realist is of the opinion that there's no such thing as an epistemically objective morality, but they're objectively right or wrong in the framework of an intersubjective set of moral principles.
Once he's uttered the incantations, Vaush then puts his
When he utters the incantation. That dude is too good.
Modern magic into practice, granting him invulnerability against even the most basic of facts.
But let's just use the example of water. Maybe we could agree that water is H2O.
Hey, can we? This is 100% debate, bro.
His postmodern magic into practice, granting him invulnerability against even the most basic of facts.
But let's just use the example of water. Maybe we could agree that water is H2O. That was true even before we knew about chemistry. It was H2O. True. I'm sorry?
This isn't true.
That water has not always been H2O?
Yeah, all you have to do is cross the Mexican border. And over there, it's aqua.
Got him! He fucking got him! Oh my god. Water isn't a real thing, it's a social construct.
That's H2O, not water.
Enemy stunned. You know what? I have dealt with this type of weapons grade autism from both Nina and President Sunday.
Aqua means water. Aqua is water.
You say something. Actually, I've dealt with it with Chud Logic even. When I talked to him or debated him about the French, it was a French cop that killed a 17-year-old, and he killed him because he positioned himself next to the car with his gun out and shot him. And Chud's argument was like, what are you going to do? Let him get away and risk killing someone? It's like, yeah, you don't just get to kill somebody because you're afraid of a future crime. It doesn't work that way. And then when I explained that the police arrested the cop because the police felt that that was a illegal thing, he wouldn't understand that, the police that outranked the cop he agrees with disagrees with the cop and Chud Logic. Well, no, that's different. They're different cops. What, dude?
It's a different term.
Actually, it's agua. It's not aqua, right?
And we're referring to terms and definitions here.
No, I'm referring to water. The stuff that fills lakes and rivers.
Yeah, so much safer.
The stuff that fills
about the word one.
Many things fill lakes and rivers.
Okay.
Wow.
Vaush's E is equestrian eros. Vaush whinnies loudly, tapping into his deep love and affinity for the animal kingdom.
Okay, so to understand, as a tank, your job is to take damage, not necessarily kill people. Your job is to take damage so other people can do damage without getting killed.
I want to f*** a woman as a horse.
After transforming into a glorious stallion, Vaush gish gallops in a straight line, dealing massive damage to any naysayers in range, and significantly destabilizing their morale. Let's stop beating a dead horse here. Vaush's ultimate is Lollipop. Vaush ignores all the obvious negative effects of consistently and repeatedly sitting in front of your computer and watching too much adult content.
As somebody with an entirely healthy relationship to pornography, if I want to look at fat, I can just look at the fat, and then I can just, leave, walk away from the computer.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
As the inevitable desire for novelty increases, Vaush reaches a critical level of degeneracy.
See, this is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
Allowing him to summon an army of questionable cartoon figures and short-stack goblins to aid him in battle.
You'll have to entertain me for a moment on this presumed shared knowledge of how goblins get drawn in pornography, but you know how they're all thick short stacks, right?
These creepy conjurations then activate a global taunt, forcing every champion on the map, including his own allies, to attack Vaush wherever he is. As a hyper-progressive tank, Vaush is usually found in the top lane, alongside a team of other highly intelligent but generally useless socialists. Vaush is a strong lane bully, and can whittle down opponents by spamming literally a fascist over and over.
So in the game, League of Legends, if you don't know, there's like 3 lanes. There's top lane, middle lane, bottom lane. And then there's somebody called a jungler. Thus, our buddy, we got a jungler. And everybody has a different type of gameplay that has to go on. So if you know the game, this is a relevant, funny thing.
Over again. If he overextends, Equestrian Eros grants Vaush horse-like mobility to escape any incoming ganks. But be careful when this ability is on cooldown, as Vaush has no other strong escapes, and his weapons-grade autism makes it difficult for him to travel.
Why are you so lazy? It's not a laziness thing, man. Travel makes me fucking queasy. It makes me sick. I feel like depressive the entire week after I fucking hate travel. I've always hated travel. Why? Literally autism.
Vaush's kit makes him very good at countering enemy carries. He can tell a spell-casting sorcerer like J.K. Rowling to literally shut the F up without suffering any damage from accusations of misogyny.
I'll just lay out my points right here, okay? I think that the people who are hand-wringing over this are borderline defending J.K. Rowling by implication. So the people who are fretting over this are
The face filter's killing me.
essentially siding with the transphobe, either because their optics or civility politics brained in a very liberal fashion, or because they hate me so much that they have to adopt any position which
That's what he said about the Ethan expose too. It's just people hate him.
allows them to condemn me.
Despite the hyper-progressive nature of his kit, Vaush is capable of making some base takes when postmodern parry is on cooldown and he's forced to use common sense.
Quit making
Cooldown is once you've used it, there's X amount of time before you have that attack back.
pride. Quit making the existence of gay people a sex thing. Isn't that the progressive argument? That teaching kids sexuality isn't the same thing as exposing them to sex? Isn't that the whole argument we make? Kids should go to Pride. It should be a cool thing it should be a block party with cotton candy. It should be a community fair. If you want to keep...
Even convites understood this. I do agree with this. That when you want to be seen as equal, then act equal. There aren't a lot of like fucking cabaret parades on like any other month. Like flaunting sexuality in people's faces is the opposite of equality.
thing.
There's nothing wrong with being gay in public, but like forcing people to want to accept like a few hundred guys in fucking leather parading down the street doing sexual bullshit